welcome to the Culture Cast. I'm Chris Stashio, and I'm joined by my two good friends. He is the host of the Projection Booth podcast, Mr. Mike White.
Howdy, hey.
And all the way from Seagal land, our good friend, Mr. Trevor Gumbel.
How is it going? Good to be back.
It's going good. It's going good. So Trevor and I were talking before the podcast. Trevor and I hadn't talked in 2 months because Trevor and I talked about the first movie in February and the last movie in March. And then we realized it's been literally 2 fucking months since we talked.
Yeah,
so,
it's been a while.
As opposed to Mike, who I've talked to once a week for the entire month. Not complaining, though. I will say that much.
4 days this week?
Yeah, 4 days this week, too. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you guys did Justice League. The big one.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Yes.
Did we do it, or did it do us?
I think it did us.
Yeah, it did me pretty badly, too. That was a rough one.
That was kind of the consensus after the fact, is everybody I know is varying degrees of Josh Hadley and the anger meter. It's either you're all the way as angry as he was, or kind of me or you or in between. So
I can't get angry about it. It was just it was there. It happened. I'm moving on with my life. Josh is another level. I guess.
Well, I mean, hey, I to be fair, I went and looked at Josh's posts because him and I are friends on Facebook now.
Yeah,
he does have people commenting who like those movies. So I get it. He's angry. I get it because he doesn't like hearing about it. I don't blame him one bit, frankly.
Telling Josh that you like the Justice League is kind of like poking a tiger.
It's intentional. It's like, I know you were gonna hate it. So,
people love. People love doing that to him.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about Justice League, thank fucking God.
Yeah.
Because I think if we devoted another hour to that movie, we would talk more about the movie than the movie deserves, and then we would be longer than the movie in a whole. We are here to round out Mike White March with a look at 1933's pre-code drama / hot sex film, Babyface.
And who's to blame? My father. A swell start you gave me. Ever since I was 14, what's it been? Nothing but men. Dirty, rotten men. And you're lower than any of them. I'll hate you as long as I live. Somebody might... What could I do? He's my boss and I have to earn my own living. Are you letting me go?
I'll need everything I've given you. All your bonds and securities.
I can't do it. I have to think of myself. I've gone through a lot to get those things. My life has been bitter and hard. I'm not like other women. Get out of here or I'll...
Millie, you got to marry me. If you don't, I'll kill myself.
So the film is directed by Alfred E. Green, based on a story by Daryl F. Zanuck, though he was quoted as being Mark Canfield. It is based on a screenplay by Gene Markey and Catherine Scola, and it stars Barbara Stanwyck as, I guess, the eponymous character. Sure, yes?
Yeah. She is Babyface.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You got a cute baby face. That's like all I can hear because of Tommy Wiseau, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I just hear the song "Baby Face." You got the cutest little baby face.
They were getting their money out of that song.
Yeah, they were.
Sure, they sure were. And the film is about Barbara Stanwyck as the titular character who goes out into the world and makes a name for herself. And we'll talk about how she does that here in a little bit, because, boy, at the time, I bet a bunch of people really fucking hated this movie. So much so that it was kind of one of the reasons the production code was being enforced. So, with that out of the way, Mike, why did you pick Babyface?
Sorry, Chris, I wish I had a better story, but this was another one where I was compiling lists of the best pre-code films, and this one came up a bunch. Ironically, so did one called Red-Headed Woman, which I think this was inspired by.
Okay.
But, yeah. Let's see. Yes, it had a similar theme, so I will have to check that one out and see if Jean Harlow is playing a character named Babyface or something.
Her character's name in that movie is Lil.
Oh, okay.
So kind of in the same vein.
Yeah, everyone knows her as Nancy.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But what did you think, Mike? Your reasonings aside.
Yeah, well, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I really like Barbara Stanwyck, so it was great seeing her as the star of this. I was feeling the length a little bit in this at one point. I was just like, how long is this movie? This feels a little long. But, I mean...
Which is funny, given that it's literally 70 minutes.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is a familiar story. I love the musical Evita. This is basically Evita, but without songs. It's Barbara Stanwyck coming to town and just sleeping her way to the top, even sleeping with very young John Wayne, which was hilarious to see.
Boy, I was like, is this John Wayne's in this movie, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
For, 10 seconds?
Let me tell you something, Babyface. I was like, no matter what he did, you can't take the way he delivers his lines away from him.
Oh, no.
No matter what he's saying.
I'm surprised that he let them put that much makeup on him. I really am.
Oh, man. His skin was, it looked perfect.
Oh, yeah.
And that whatever accent he's trying to do is so strange.
Yeah. It's interesting. This is another movie where they move over to Europe by the end of it, right? Because there's the whole Paris connection here. That's the strangest thing, that we keep seeing these characters who just jet off to Europe whenever they want to. But yeah, I like the theme. I like that I liked her even though she was pretty ruthless. And I also was really happy that we actually had an African-American character in this movie who had agency and who was being defended by Babyface. So I was pretty happy with her and how she was being treated in the movie.
What about you, Trevor? What did you think?
I agree with Mike. I really like this movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought Barbara Stanwyck was terrific. From the first scene to the last scene, I thought she held her own tremendously. It was kind of a movie where she was putting on a performance where she was acting like a woman that you didn't see much in those type of days. And you're right, Mike. There was an African-American character kind of not playing the typical, what was the name of the Gone with the Wind actress?
Butterfly McQueen?
Yeah, not playing that typical, subservient role, but actually doing her own thing. I mean, she was playing her maid and stuff, but the character also wanted her to do her own thing and be her own person, and not just be, her second, banana, whatever. And I really appreciated that about the film. And Barbara Stanwyck's performance throughout the thing was just terrific. And it was weird. It's like, I know I'm supposed to disapprove of the way she's going about things, but it's just so damn cunning and just beautifully done that I can't help but you know what? I got you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm with you.
Are we supposed to feel that? I know we're like you said, Trevor, we're supposed to. But and there is that connotation in current society, day and age, where it's like, look at that woman, she won't.
Yeah.
There's never been a dick she wouldn't suck to get whatever she wanted. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not trying to be that person who says those kinds of things, because I'm not. But that's still a thing today that women are looked down on for doing. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's right or wrong or this or that or anything else. But that is the weird quandary I'm in with this movie, because it doesn't take a stance either.
No.
She knows what she's doing. So it's
Exactly.
not like she doesn't realize how she's manipulating other people, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know what stance the movie's taking on this, if it's taking one at all.
Does it make sense to say it's taking a stance by not taking a stance? It's pretty much her just...
As Rush would say, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
Yeah.
As Rush would say. That guy's been 1 month sober now.
Yes, that's exactly the one Rush I was talking about.
Yeah, and it just takes it doesn't take a stance, but I think the audience pretty much, it knows the audience is smart enough to kind of, not have a movie decide for them what is the right and wrong, and what is...
It's just kind of an anti-hero, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And she kind of learns a lesson, not a harsh moral lesson. It isn't God punishing her, but that she sees, she spills that money and she seems to be okay with that. It's like much more about the love than the money.
Yeah,
when
I mean,
it's
she
all
learns
been about the money. Yeah,
I mean, she learns it kind of abruptly in my mind. I mean,
right.
it happens.
It's quick. It's a quick ending.
Because it happens
quick.
in about one scene, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a very, it doesn't happen over like the last act. It happens over the last 2 minutes. But I mean, at least she learns a lesson, and I guess we can get some satisfaction out of that.
If it felt earned, which it doesn't, because even they realize, like, this is the ending that they tacked onto the movie, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought there was another one where she went back to Kansas or something.
Oh, is there? I was just saying, like, this, from my mind, even if it isn't actually the ending they tacked on, like, this feels very much in the vein of the other endings we've seen. Like, you've talked about, Mike, where it's like, the person has to be punished in the end so that they learn a lesson. And, like, it's like, oh, the money is on the floor, and she, her boyfriend, or her husband, I guess, is, he shot himself, but he might survive. Like, she learned her lesson. Like, I guess that's what the movie's going for.
And he shoots himself in the side.
Right.
I thought he shot himself in the head.
No, I think he shot himself in the side, because I think that's where they show the bullet. Is it?
Well, he couldn't have shot himself in the head because he still looked perfect.
Yeah, pretty much.
He was still looking at her with his eyes open, longingly into her eyes.
Yeah, that's not a... It's the movie kind of makes a message of this isn't a woman that you want to get in a relationship with, because,
She makes you do crazy things.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
she makes... Well, let's see. So within the span of this film, how many men is she with that kill themselves? 2? Try to,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then one guy dies.
2.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know,
die.
but one guy dies not of his own free will. And then the other guy dies because he kills himself.
Yeah.
Which is, so 2 people die and one guy tries to kill himself.
And I'm thinking to myself, because of this woman?
Yeah.
It's New York City. I'm sure there's a lot more beautiful women out there. No offense to Barbara Stanwyck. She's a gorgeous woman.
It does. Yeah, that's like the one thing about this movie that I don't get is she is like you said, Trevor, she's an attractive woman, but her ruthlessness is a thing that men are attracted to, I guess, is what the film is positing.
I mean,
she's kind of one of the guys because she's so ruthless.
She does play the ball breaker. She does play the kind of do what is necessary to climb the ladder.
Yeah.
To climb the ladder.
Or to ride the train.
I mean, she's taught this by her mentor back in Kansas, who shows her a book by Nietzsche.
Yes.
Which basically tells her, I don't remember the exact quote, I'm sorry, but it's basically telling her by any means necessary.
Right. All life, no matter how we idealize it, is nothing more nor less than exploitation.
Yeah, basically. This could very well be Ayn Rand's fantasy.
Yeah. Go to some big city where you will find opportunities. Use men. Be strong. Defiant. Use men to get the things you want.
And she does.
That's the most fucked up fortune cookie I've ever heard in my life.
And she does, completely.
You will find true love on Flag Day.
Yeah, and she does. She goes to the city. Well, she hops a train where she does her first.
Yeah,
she makes her first.
Sucks the railroad man's dick or something.
Yeah.
Well,
allegedly.
Gloves.
Allegedly.
Well, and
Your
her friends in
Honor,
the car went,
you didn't catch it in my. I didn't catch it in my mouth, and you didn't catch me with it in my mouth. Your Honor, I rest my case.
All I can think of all that was happening is like your friend is in the car with you.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Is she just sitting there like?
She's checking her phone, seeing if she's got
like,
voicemail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
who knows? This movie is very, very, very blunt with its message, which I do appreciate. And obviously, that was the issue with this movie that was raised at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Is it was so goddamn blunt? But like you guys have said, like there's a reason behind it.
And Barbara Stanwyck just oozes just sexuality and just seduction, and that's I think makes her performance so terrific in this film is that she's great at it, and
effortless.
I think effortless, very effortless,
yeah.
And and it also that just says a lot to her performance. I mean,
she does a lot with a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she does. She even managed to rope John Wayne.
Yeah,
to coin a phrase.
Who I still can't believe was John Wayne. Like, when I saw him the first time, I was like, this looks like John Wayne, but I'm not sure. And then the second time, I was like, this is definitely John Wayne.
That was John Wayne, Pilgrim.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw his name in the credits, and then I'd forgotten that he was in it until he showed up the first time, and I was like, whoa.
You got to get your start somewhere,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was this at how early on in his career was this? This has been pretty early on, right?
I'm trying to remember when. I mean, because Stagecoach is the one that really put him on the map, but
because even Clint Eastwood started out in like Roger Corman or something.
Right, Stagecoach was 39, and what year? This is 33. So this is definitely before he has his big break.
Yeah. So he's still kind of John Wayne supporting actor, character actor John Wayne. Yeah. Early career guy. Barbara Stanwyck at the time is a star, obviously. She's leading. So him getting a chance to share the screen with her is a pretty big deal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it is. I mean, if you get to share a scene with one of the biggest stars in the world, that will definitely raise your credibility in Hollywood and your view in Hollywood. People will see you and they're like, wait a minute, he's a somewhat good-looking kid. Let's see what else he can do.
Well, and he's definitely more charismatic than George Brent.
Who?
I mean,
exactly.
I of all the characters that she ends up with in the film, he is the most uninteresting character.
Oh, he's as bland as a cracker.
Uh-huh.
I mean, well, he is a cracker. But that's
God, he's just the most.
It's shocking to me that this movie tries to get us to believe that the person she's going to fall in love with is the most boring character.
The more interesting character was the guy's dad.
Yeah.
The one head of the company was more interesting than him. I mean, the father, the wannabe father-in-law of the guy she was having the affair with was more interesting than the guy she ended up being with.
What did he call her? Or what did she call him?
Oh God, I don't remember. It was
Little Baby or something?
Something like that.
Does little baby want his dessert or something? It's like,
oh God, that was
fuck
cringy.
Is this? Does little baby want his dessert? And then he gets shot by his son-in-law.
Wannabe son-in-law.
Yeah, wannabe son-in-law.
You gotta admit, the company is very forgiving in this film. Like, the son-in-law got to keep his job.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, if I was the father of that girl, learning that her boyfriend cheated on my daughter with the office whatever she was at the time, I'd be a little upset. I wouldn't.
No, he just wants some.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would fire the guy. On the least, fire the guy. I wouldn't just be, just wait outside. I need to talk to my daughter.
Right.
Very forgiving company. I want to know what that company is so I can apply for a job.
And they probably also send her away, so they get her a job somewhere else too.
Well, yeah, they
she could take the entire company down.
They send her to France, basically.
Right. Yeah, talk about falling up.
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
You fail upwards in that company.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
Mike, how does this compare for you to the rest of the stuff we watched this month?
I mean, this is a lot racier, and I'm wondering, because I tried to set it up that we're going pretty much by year, and this is like the oldest, newest of the bunch, so it's the one closest to when they started to really crack down with the code. So I can see, like, they really have pushed the boundaries so far with this one, because, she really doesn't get a good moral lesson. She should be really majorly punished for being this loose woman. And I love that they've got that metaphor of like the different offices in that building and that we're just going up and up and up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was so nice. But yeah, I can see why this one really was pushing the envelope and why it got cracked down on. I mean, this is the first time I've seen them talk about censorship in all of the movies that we've discussed, and then that they actually went ahead and censored it and tacked on other stuff and changed lines and things. It's like, this is one of our early victims of censorship here.
We saw the uncensored version, right? The 75-minute one?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Because we didn't, the thing, there's like less in what the Nietzsche guy is talking about, and then I was talking about the end of it. The primary change was to alter the ending to one which showed Lily losing everything and returning to her roots in her hometown.
Of course.
This might be the hometown where her dad was having her sleep with guys that were in the cafe.
When she was 14.
Yeah.
Statutory rape? Perfectly fine. Being a strong, independent woman? Go fuck yourself.
Who are you, Matt Gaetz?
Exactly. Oh, that's topical.
Got him right in his square fucking face.
No, Mike, sorry. 17. You have to be 17 for Matt Gaetz to be attractive.
Let's see. In her hometown where she is content to live a modest lifestyle, thus showing the audience that her sexual vices were not ultimately rewarded.
God.
Okay.
The code was just so
it's like the last movie we watched. It's a fucking skewed morality. Because you don't agree with someone being promiscuous, which even has a negative connotation. The word promiscuous has a negative connotation. Live your own fucking life. If you want to go fuck everyone that you want, go ahead.
Yeah,
if you don't use protection, and you catch STI, that's your own damn fault. If you want to have sex with people and you want to be safe about it, cool. If not, cool. That's your choice. But the whole fucking movie's like, it's just like last week with the heroin addict. It's like her throwing herself out the window is the right call.
Right.
If you're a fucking heroin addict, kill yourself. And this movie's doing the same thing. It's like, if you are a woman who likes sex, you're gonna go back to your hometown and live as a spinster. Like, what the fuck? Fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Moral signaling as you support your church that fucks kids.
Oh, God.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Because what was Hayes? Hayes was what, a Catholic? Baptist?
Must have been Catholic, yeah.
But again, remember, he was the guy that put all this stuff together, but it was Breen that was the one that started to enforce this stuff.
Neil Breen?
Sure, but someone had to put it together.
Yes, Neil Breen. Yes. Yeah, it was the Hayes Code, and then Breen. It's like the whole thing. Like, a law is only as good as you endorse it, or enforce it. Sorry, not endorse it. Right. So it's like they make all these rules, and nobody does anything. Nobody even shakes a finger at anybody, and then here comes the new principal who's like, okay, you got all these rules. All right, I'm going to enforce every single one of these things.
And it's like, no, we had these rules this entire time. People just weren't enforcing them.
Exactly.
And look, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, in 33, someone going and fucking trying to enforce this shit is a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
You had to hire people. You had to pay people. People weren't enforcing this shit for free. No. The MPAA, even now in Hollywood, they are paid by someone. The people who work for the MPAA aren't working for fucking free. They're not goddamn volunteers.
Exactly.
No, they're people who don't know what the fuck they're doing or what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, well, to be fair, people in 33 didn't know either.
No, that's the thing, though. They've never really known what they're doing.
And it's not. Well, I would say the bigger problem, and you were right there about to open the door. it's never changed either what they want.
No.
They don't want sex. They want violence up the ass, but they don't want sex. And if you're gay or anything else, we definitely don't want that. But go and kill a bunch of people as much as you fucking want and watch them get eviscerated. But a penis? God. A vagina? Jesus Christ.
Mike, I think I talked to you about this. I think on my very first episode of Projection Booth, we talked about this film was not yet rated, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
Very briefly. We talked about how, it's fucked up how the film rating system works. Like, Saving Private Ryan gets an R rating by showing a bunch of guys picking up their limbs on the beach at Normandy, getting fucking blown away, shit like that. But you show one pubic hair, NC-17, automatically.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what kind of fucked up morality is that?
It's the same one that dictated this movie.
Exactly.
I don't understand what the demonization of sex is all about in the entertainment industry.
And the passing of, I'm not against violence. Don't get me. I'm in film, like, I'm not some morality police saying, oh my God, keep our kids away from violence. They're going to turn into violent.
I don't know if you know this, but video games cause kids to be violent.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, totally.
Did you know the Grand Theft Autos is the reason? It's not the guns. It's the Grand Theft Autos.
It's even turned Satan gay.
Oh my God. Guys, hold on.
Orrin Hatch, is that you?
Hold on a second. You're telling me that something that we created, the devil, is now being made fun of by a gay black man stripping on him, and we don't like that the thing that we made up is having the piss taken out of it? God! Like, what? Fuck off. Come on.
I don't know if they made this big of a deal when Kiss put their blood in a fucking comic book and sold it to kids. But Nas
when
X
you supposedly drink the blood of Christ every weekend at church.
See, but that's metaphorical blood, so that's okay. But if you
it's not metaphorical though, right? It's not metaphorical.
Well, it depends on if you believe in transubstantiation.
My father I was raised by a Catholic father, so I'm not the best at this. So
the admissions of a not that great Catholic.
I wasn't even baptized Catholic, so I'm probably going to purgatory before I go anywhere else.
Or wherever you want. Don't forget, you can make up wherever you want to go after it's all over.
Okay, I'll go wherever fucking Xenu is.
Richard Haddam has entered the chat.
Oh, God.
Scientology's been mentioned.
So, it's a transubstantiation, yeah. So, but yeah, little Nas X puts, a drop of blood in his shoes, which, I don't know, unless I see proof of that, I don't even know if he really did it or just said it to piss the people off.
Devil's gay. Gay devils.
Yeah. Give
Alex
him a lap
Jones.
dance.
Yep, first it was
I think
the frogs.
he's just leaning into the criticism and saying, you know what, if you want to say this about me, let me lean into it. Fuck y'all.
And that's how you take the piss out of these people.
Basically.
Look at, this movie takes the piss out. Mike, you mentioned it. This movie is the first one that we've seen. I'm sure you would agree, Mike, this is definitely not the first one that took the censors to task, but they try to take the piss out of the censors in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, it definitely is a movie that's basically telling the censors, come at me.
Right.
Come and censor our movie and try to censor it, which is impossible.
Right.
So we'll just force you to tack on this like horse shit ending instead.
It was. I admit I haven't seen the alternate ending, the family approved ending where she learns her lesson and goes back to Kansas, which would be a bullshit.
Does it say how that leads to that? Does he die and then she goes to Kansas? Does it say?
It doesn't say no.
Do you think he would have to die? Do you think, Mike, he would have to die for that story?
Probably.
For her to get her comeuppance, truly?
Yeah, I think so.
I would just be afraid to be a man. Wait, no. We missed another man who died in her life, her dad.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he blows up. Yeah, which I don't know why I found it. I don't know why I found it funny. Maybe it's the way it blows up. And they just assume he dies because she just stands there with no reaction on her face, really. Well, he was kind of a dick, so...
Yeah.
I said no man could have survived that fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was also... it was a still, right? So he's he was going against Prohibition. I know that was over by 1933, but it's also showing him as a scofflaw.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but he's turning his daughter for tricks.
Yeah, so he's a sex trafficker.
What a crazy movie. This is crazy.
This movie, I don't know.
I'm like, yes, it is.
I would think this was like Me Too, the movie for 1930.
I was expecting like our entire pre-code month to be this crazy. So I'm glad that we finally hit one. So
Me too.
I thank you for giving me the craziest film this month, because
I think you picked this one.
Did I pick this one?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think there was like 2 choices, maybe 2 or 3, but this has been insane.
Well, when I picked this one, I thought it was going to be a gangster film because it was called Babyface.
I thought it was going to be a gangster film too.
So I was like, Babyface sounds like a gangster film. Sweet, I'll pick this one. Man, was I in for something different. It's like when Mike gives me a pick for projection booth, and I pick the first nudie musical. Who knows what I'm in for?
Yep.
You know?
Do you think in the censored version of this film they have the scene at the end where the faces of the men are transposed on top of the vinyl? It's a very interesting scene, right?
It's awesome. I was so glad to see that.
You remember all of her conquests, folks? Let's see them.
Yeah.
Was that what it was supposed to? I don't know.
That's supposed to be like Is that supposed to be like the aha moment of the character? Where she's like, he's the last one, and he's the only one who ever said loving things to me.
And he spun me right round, baby, like round like a record baby, right round.
It's weird to me that this, like we kind of mentioned at the top of this podcast, it's weird to me that this movie wraps up in a minute.
Yeah, it is way too sudden of an ending.
Do you guys think that? It's weird because I don't know what's dictating the length of these movies, right? Because we've seen things now that have been 60 minutes, and then we've seen things that were an hour and a half, like The Divorcee, and then we see something like this that's 76 minutes, which in today's standards, 76 minutes is what, 6 minutes shy of where most movies are?
Yeah.
9 minutes shy?
This is like Master of Disguise, like running time.
Master of Disguise. Is that the first bad movie we could think of? Because it is a bad movie.
No, I'm thinking of like, I'm thinking of like short running time films that are like wide release, not straight to video.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. No, I mean, I bet Master of Disguise is... wow, Trevor, do you want to guess how close you were to the runtime of this movie and Master of Disguise? Do you want to guess how close you are?
By a minute or two?
$1.
4 minutes?
4 minutes. This movie is shorter than Master of Disguise by 4 minutes.
Wow.
That is kind of mind-blowing that A, that's the movie you went to, Trevor, and B, that it's pretty much right.
And
within 5 minutes is pretty much, I'll give you you gave complete credit on that one. I don't know what the deal is, Mike. Do you know what the deal is with these lengths of these movies?
I mean, I would think when it comes to a 60-minute film that it is, 3 reels and that's it. So it was like, depending on the length of the reel. But yeah, when you get these weird running times, I'm not sure what it is. I mean, it's not like they have to break for commercial or something.
No. And then at the end of the movie, the credits are like that. Because they already showed the credits.
Well, that was mostly a lot of films back in the day. They usually just went to the end, boom.
Yeah,
they usually just showed.
It's super weird because like I was trying to figure out why these films kind of have all these. Because like now, like sure, a movie could be 105 minutes versus 102 versus 106, but like when you're in this sub 80 territory, and especially when a lot of these movies have been 60, sometimes even close to sub 60.
Yeah.
It's weird because like this movie needed 5 more minutes.
Oh yeah. It sure did.
Or at least 6 or 7, maybe 10.
I think she needed to have a realization be a lot more ingrained.
Or like at least throughout the film. Like give her some opportunities to realize it throughout the story, not just in the last 2 minutes where it's like, oh yeah, I like this guy. It's like, yeah, but what?
She's like, she's like careless. 1 minute left in the film. Oh my god, I love him.
And she just happens upon him that he's killed himself.
Yeah.
Deus ex machina. She like what I couldn't figure out what the reason that she went back was because of her epiphany by looking at the vinyl, and because of that she found him having committed suicide.
Yeah, because he was being indicted,
right?
And he needed $1 million bail to
Within like 8 hours.
Like 8 hours, and she had $500,000, which she was not going to give up. And I'm pretty sure her jewelry was enough to... I'm sure the jewelry would have been enough to pay the bail anyway and still keep some of the money. So not only does he lose the bail, he lost her. So, of course, he probably was depressed enough to pull the trigger on himself.
But what I don't understand is we have a character in this film who kills himself. And then we have another character who tries to kill himself.
Yeah.
By shooting himself somewhere other than his head.
Exactly. The side. Yeah, he shoots himself in the, like
I don't get it. Like, we've already seen in this film that the people who are writing this film have no problem with characters killing themselves.
Yeah, why do it again?
Right.
There's no really...
And why do it but not have him kill himself and have him... Like, that's what was weird about this film's climax. Is like, even though I know, and like you mentioned, Mike, there is this other censored version.
Yeah.
This ending doesn't feel much better. This ending is awful. Like, this... As much as I enjoyed most of this movie, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the last 5 to 10 minutes of this movie are not good.
No.
Frankly, I found them to be almost so bad that they kind of ruin most of the film, because at some point the characters are acting against what we've seen the entire film. I don't even understand why she comes around at the end. That wasn't the story that they were telling. The story that they were telling was she is a ruthless, cutthroat woman who wants to get to the top. So why all of a sudden in the last 2 minutes of the movie she's like, oh my god, I love this guy so much. Like, the final paragraph on Wikipedia, if you go read this film's synopsis, if you don't want to watch it, you go read the film synopsis, the final paragraph is where you're going to see the first inkling of an idea that her character is going to change her mind. She says they don't matter to her anymore, and that's it. And it's like, but why?
I think it's because the writers ran out of a story and needed a...
Well, how do you end that ending. Story, right?
Yeah, exactly. They were like, okay, well, we'll think of something somewhat plausible, but not, plausible enough for people to not think about it too much. Okay, he tries to kill himself. She realizes he loves him. The end.
Yeah. I mean, where are you going to go from there?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is they reinserted the character of Cortland back into her life as a character.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very weird set of choices that this film makes in the last third that don't really pan out with the character you've been watching that sleeps with the guy on the train and then the banker and then another banker. She sleeps with a guy to get her a job, then like multiple people to get to where she is, and then she sleeps with the vice president of the bank.
I guess.
And gets him killed, and that guy's soon-to-be son-in-law killed. And then she not only still works at the company, but they give her a fucking promotion, and then all of a sudden she decides to change?
Yeah.
And
it's fucking weird.
It is.
It's like they censored themselves.
Yeah. It's just...
I don't know, is this nitpicking?
It's almost like they were possessed, or the writers were kidnapped by code-approved writers who took over at the very last minute.
I mean, it kind of feels like it. I mean, is this nitpicking?
No, it's not,
bit.
because...
A little bit. I don't know. I mean, is it nitpicking to question the character's motivation?
No.
Well, no, because it does feel like this woman just suddenly out of nowhere, after 70 minutes of being a complete
Go further, 74 minutes.
74 minutes of a manipulative, do anything, sexually confident woman suddenly just realizes, oh, I can't believe I've done this. I love this man. I'm going to go in the ambulance with him. Please don't die on me. I love you. End.
The endings have been a common thread this month, Mike.
That is true.
Have they all been this abrupt?
Some have been pretty abrupt.
Yeah, Blood Money's was really abrupt.
Yep.
The Divorcees was not abrupt, but the Divorcees kind of was like this. It kind of had the character acting against the character's actions the entire film.
Mm-hmm.
And then the jewel robbery made sense.
Yeah.
And the Cagney one made sense. So it's just this one and the Divorcee, and they both kind of share similar themes.
Right.
because they're both about kind of strong, independent women who end up giving up being strong and independent in the third act of the film for whatever reason. Because I guess what it is the writers didn't think that was a sustainable story, so they had to tack on some sort of fairy tale ending that the characters, if they were acting in line with type, those characters don't want that ending anyways.
Right.
I don't think Barbara Stanwyck's character in this film wants the fairy tale ending. She just wants to be rich and at the top of the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that doesn't mean she needs anyone else for that.
Well, I think she wants the control that the men have.
Yeah, and then she gets married to a guy
who has the most control, and she'll end up being the subservient wife.
And then,
but that's okay because she has the money.
Yeah, but he still has more money than her.
First you get the money.
Then you get the power.
That's right.
You get the money.
Look at the pelican flying.
Where'd you get that cut, smart guy? Eating pineapple?
It's...
I'm gonna start that eating pineapple, man.
It's, I don't know. I wonder, because I'm probably going to watch a couple more pre-code films. I wonder if the endings being just a little strange is a reoccurring theme, more so than just in the 5 that we watched.
Right. Yeah, I would be very curious to find that out as well.
Yeah.
I have downloaded a bunch of other pre-code ones, so I'm excited to keep going in this world.
Maybe they just paint themselves into a corner over and over again.
Right.
It's just like we've painted ourselves into a fucking corner once again, guys. We're gonna throw away 2/3 of this script, or just junk together a 1/3 of it and just say
it's like
good.
that. It's like that old Mad TV skit where Will Sasso plays Randy Newman. He's just in the middle of a song, and then he stops because he forgets. He doesn't know what to do now, and then he suddenly just always ends the same way.
Who's a bug? Tiny bugs. I like bugs. Hey guys, let's melt down some Grammys and go get tacos. Yeah, Randy Newman for you.
Who's the bug? There's the bug. There's the bug.
I mean,
foot, right foot, left foot, right foot.
That's actually a pretty good Randy Newman.
They've been working on it.
It's ultimately though, I think of the Mike White marches that we've done, all the movies this month have been very strong.
Yeah.
And really, they've all been really good. Their endings notwithstanding, ultimately this movie, similarly to the Cagney film, it lives and dies by Barbara Stanwyck's ability to carry this film over the finish line.
Oh, yeah.
And she does. She's a very talented actress.
She's a fantastic actress.
And she's charming as hell, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very. You can believe, you really do believe that men can be enchanted and charmed by her.
To the point where a guy wants to kill himself and does because she won't be with him anymore.
Yeah, and you can believe a fat guy in the hiring station has a chance with her.
and then the halfway homeless railroad man also.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, hey, again, I like the three of us, I'm sure I speak for all of us, what you do with your own body is your choice, and I love seeing movies like this because that kind of message should be reinforced, because for the longest time it hasn't been.
It kind of reminded me in a small way of Promising Young Woman, and in a tiny way.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, kind of.
A woman taking control of her own self to kind of stick it to. I mean,
let's ask them if the Promising Young Woman could be made in 1933. Oh boy.
Yeah, but it ended better for It ended better for Babyface than it did for Promising Young Woman. No spoiler alert.
Yeah.
True.
Oh yeah. Well, they could not do that ending in this movie because I don't think this character deserved that ending. That
hell
character,
no.
hair. Well, I mean.
That character didn't deserve it either, though.
Well, to be fair, but I'm talking more about it in the scope of this month, because we have seen a character who is seen as a, lawbreaker, drug addict, what have you, getting theirs to the point of overkill.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the character in the last movie we watched, Trevor, was a heroin addict who, at the end of the film, threw herself out of a window.
To save her child.
But she was also getting her just desserts because she was a heroin addict.
Because that's what
heroin addicts deserve.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do.
Yeah.
Well, again, that goes to the violence is okay, but no drugs and no sex. So
yeah, I mean, if that was the truth, I mean, how many 80s hair metal bands could we have been saved from?
So on that note, Trevor, what would you give this film out of 5?
I give it a decent 4. It's definitely worth a watch if you turn it off before the last minute, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4. And since it's Mike White March, Mike, I'm going to give you the last word. What would you give this film out of 5?
I would also give it a 4. I was very happy with this one, but again, it's not one that I will probably rush back to. I would probably go to Blonde Crazy and The Jewelry Heist for things that I'm going to see a second time.
Yeah, I would agree. And those were kind of my 2 standouts from the month as well. I mean, Cagney alone, it makes that film a watch. And then William Powell and, oh God, what's her name?
Kay Francis.
Kay Francis. I mean, their chemistry together is amazing as well. So on that note, let's take a break and we'll play a preview for the first film of next month.
Los Angeles, 1937. There are lots of guys like J.J. Gittes. They're easy to find, if you want to find them.
Mr. Gittes, have we ever met?
Well, no.
Never?
Never.
Since you agree with me that we've never met before, you must also agree with me that I've never hired you to do anything, certainly not spy on my husband. I don't get tough with anyone, Mr. Gittes. My lawyer does.
You do your job. And sometimes you find the answers to questions that should never be asked. Or you find out what happens to people who ask them.
Hold it there, kitty cat. You're a very nosy fellow, kitty cat, huh? You know what happens to a nosy fellow?
I dislike the word cheat.
Did you have affairs?
Mr. Gittes.
Did he know about it? Where were you when your husband died? You were seeing someone too. For very long?
I don't see anyone for very long, Mr. Gittes. It's difficult for me.
Mr. Gittes, you're dealing with a disturbed woman who's just lost her husband. I don't want her taken advantage of.
The truth. I said I want the truth.
Jake. I'm doing you a favor. Come on, Jake.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
You get tough. You get tender. You get close to each other. Maybe you even get close to the truth. Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway in a Robert Evans production of a Roman Polanski film, Chinatown.
That's right. On the next episode of the Culture Cast, we are going to be venturing into a month that is very personal to me because we're going to be talking about films that I've never seen, my cinematic blind spots. And we're going to be starting with a film that I haven't seen, but I'm excited to watch, which is Chinatown, a film with Jack Nicholson. Right?
It's a great, great movie. Just keep an eye out on eyes, and especially when there are two sets of things and one has a flaw. There's a great running theme of that.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't look, Roman Polanski's personal shit aside, I haven't seen a ton of Polanski stuff other than, I think, Rosemary's Baby. So this will be like the other Polanski.
I've seen that, and I've seen, oh God, what was that movie with Johnny Depp?
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that too. Ninth Gate, yeah.
Yeah. I was just looking at my Blu-ray of that, which I bought for Polanski's commentary.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I kind of... Polanski is kind of a sore subject for me. I mean, it's kind of hard to separate I try to separate the work from the artist, so...
I think Polanski's a sore subject for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of us have a fun time talking about that. Because there's...
No.
What are we supposed to do?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a fucking secret. The guy doesn't live in the United States because of it. Like, if you ask him why he's not here,
we're not pretending. We're not pretending the guy's. No, we're not pretending the guy's a great person. He's a fucking prick.
No.
Okay.
No. Mike, when you're not here programming Mike White March, which thank you as always is fantastic.
Well, thank you. Thanks for doing this again.
Of course.
You're the only podcast that gives a damn.
Oh wow. Well. If that is the way you feel, then that makes me feel good.
And yeah, when I'm not here doing this with you, you can find us together over at BarneyMillerPodcast.com. I think that's the right URL. And then
if you type that into Google, we will come up.
Yes. And also you can hear us talk about Twilight Zone 85 at TwilightZone85.com. I've been trying to pimp all these URLs, Chris.
Pimp them out like Barbara Stanwyck.
As always, you can find me over at the Projection Booth, which is projectionboothpodcast.com.
What about you, Trevor?
You can find me at onseagal.com with Chris, as yours truly.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Case Neuromancer, which I'm meaning to change because that's too complicated to say.
And Trevor and I aren't going to wait 2 months to do another fucking podcast together.
Yeah.
So there you go. Which it's so weird. Like, February to March is like almost the only time that ever happens. Because March, unlike last year, Mike, March didn't feel... I mean, March was long, but last year, March was like 6 months strung into one.
Yes. I know why it was 2 months, because like Mike was like, make sure it was the last movie we do, because I do not want to talk to that guy whatsoever.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
That's the reason.
That's exactly what it was.
You got it. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at ChristmasClaus, culturecast.com, patreon.com/culturecast. That's where you can go if you've got $1. If not, hey, I get it. Time is short and things are rough. I don't know where I was going with that. Culturecast.com, Culturecast on Twitter. Big thanks to y'all for joining me, and we'll catch you on the next episode.